Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
And welcome back to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm actor Brandon Rush. I've been in 80 plus television shows and movies all around the United States and Mexico and London. And I launched the Buckle Up Podcast with my mom, Mama Rush, who is a pharmaceutical sales specialist. As I said before, if this is your first time tuning in, we decided to launch this podcast to be educational for our youth and to give people the opportunity to tell their own story. With me traveling all over the world for acting work, I always found it fascinating learning people's stories. So I'd be in the airports. I was almost in the airport for 3 years, and I would talk to everybody I sat to, and either in the airport or in the plane, and find out their story and what made them tick. And so found that fascinating. And my other goal was to give back to the youth so that with all the guests that come on the show, our guests give them an opportunity to tell their own journey as well as how they got to where they are. So people have been able to go about finding out scholarships on here. People have been able to find out maybe the type of career path that they want to go into. We have had in my acting movie business, we've had directors, writers, producers, casting directors, casting associates, casting assistants, casting producers, um, writers. I think I said that before, and executive producers, studio heads. I've had CEOs of Fortune 500 companies on here. I've had small business owners on here. We've had doctors, lawyers, nurses, nurse practitioners, respiratory therapists, voiceover artists as well, military, both active and retired veterans. We have had my school teachers all the way from Catholic school all the way up through college. My professor, Randy Covington, a professor who was big inspiration to me and has 4 Emmys as well, which I didn't know when I was at college at USC. Who else have we had on here? We've had people from all around the world, different countries. In fact, we're in 108 countries, 1,220 cities around the world. We're on 6 continents, and we've done 168 episodes. Today will be 169 episodes. When Bella, I think she pronounces it Feher, but I'll have her, it's spelled Feher. So I'll have her say it correctly because I am bad at butchering names. If you would ever like to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me at Brandon Rush on Instagram at BrandonRushh or our Buckle Up podcast page. You can always write me there and you can reach me that way. What else is there that I'm thinking about? So this episode going to be one episode 169 today. You can feel free to reach out and contact me. Comment on, if you DM me, make sure that you comment on my underneath my photos so I know to check my DM because I don't always get messages. Like I don't always get messages. Sometimes I go to a general box. So make sure you reach out to me that way. I am on LinkedIn as well under Brandon Rush. You can find me on there. You can feel free to reach me on there too if you have a business or something. If you're interested in sponsoring a podcast or being a collaborator on here, feel free to also reach out to me either through Instagram or on LinkedIn. And I believe that's it. Other than happy Friday and glad you guys are here. I am aware that my shirt is inside out just because I like what was on the inside of it. So I made it inside out. Yeah, that is it in a nutshell. And so Bella should be here any moment now. If I can think of anything else, I will let you all know. The show I have coming out pretty soon here is Outer Banks on Netflix. That's the next TV series of mine to come out. So I don't know the exact date, but I'll be in the final episode of that. So make sure you guys tune into Outer Banks. Trying to move that down, but it's not working. Yeah, and then it's a little hot outside, so if you hear the air conditioning going, that's why, because your boy was getting kind of hot. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Oh boy, and I just exited out of it.
Hey,
Hey B, what is going on? Give me 1 second. I accidentally exited out of it. These phones
no,
are so
you're
beautiful.
good.
Oh wow, you look amazing.
How are we?
I'm doing good, doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Finally got around to this. I'm so
Man, I
excited.
appreciate you so much. Was it like 3 months later? I finally
Oh
like
my God.
that's my fault. That's all on me. So I
No, no,
appreciate you for being
no.
patient.
I'm so excited. This is everything. You know what? I really, from the moment I met you, I was like, this guy is awesome. And you've always just brought such an electricity to like the rooms you enter into. And such
Okay.
a weird like thing how we met, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah. So
well,
I'm just
I'm glad we
excited.
did. I mean, you're such a sweet person when I met you, and I'm so glad that I did meet you. Like, I believe God brings people into each other's lives for a reason. So,
I agree. I agree.
absolutely. Well, look, you're a rock star. Bella, before we get into everything about you, also, I'm going to be reading my notes off of here because I don't have a printer right now.
Yeah.
So, when someone asks you today, who is Bella, please pronounce your last name because I don't want to butcher it.
Fair.
Fair? Okay, I said it wrong earlier, so I apologize.
Yeah.
So, if someone asks you, who is Bella Fair? Fair?
Okay. Here's what I go with. You know, like a carnival, right? A
Yeah.
carnival or a fair.
Yeah.
Go with
Fair.
fair.
Okay. Oh, just fair. That's it.
Fair.
Oh,
I'm going to
perfect.
a fair.
All right, I got that.
Yeah.
So when people ask you who is Bella Fair today, how do you answer that?
Ooh, Bella Fair is comical, creative, and cultivating her highest self on a daily basis.
I love it. You are a ball of energy. I mean, a regular, unique person. You know, every once in a while you come across someone that's like very unique. You definitely are in a good way.
Yeah, I like to hear it.
Absolutely. So you described yourself as someone who has always felt young at heart, but has an old soul. Where do you think that feeling comes from?
Ooh, I think for me, I've always felt this like dual split, right? Where I'm now in the I think a lot of your life is act some people say that like, your life is about like you get older,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I think a lot of my life and my lessons is about unlearning things from the past and kind of reteaching yourself kind of the core fundamental, maybe at times traumatic or at times like fears that were instilled in you early on. That's a kind of broader way of thinking about it. But
Okay.
getting back to being young at heart, getting back to the true things about living free spirited, without fear, without worry, without anxiety that we were at 4, 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I was like that kid who wanted to stay inside at recess because I wanted to like talk with the teachers and I wanted to know
Oh
what they were doing
yeah.
and like, and they were like, go outside, be with the other.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to be what you guys are doing. Or like,
Yeah.
I I could like talk to a wall. I could be in like an elevator and I'm talking with all the like adults in the elevator or like just I'm keeping it going. My grandma's like, get out of the elevator. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
so, but I think the old part comes in the fact that like I have such a love and appreciation for writing and nature and like old music. Like I'm a lover of like Frank Sinatra, Paul Anka, like
Okay.
older things like that. And I don't even know if that's older, but whatever. Or just like a real appreciation for history, culture, and just things that maybe aren't super modern. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I kind of split with that sometimes, but I work in venture. I work with startups. I work with innovation. I work
Yeah.
with people who are bringing creative ideas to the table every single day. I have a thirst for that. I have a hunger for hearing people think expansively and creatively. And so that's another side of me too. That's very, like, oh, I want to hear new ideas. I want to think about things that could be innovations in like 30 years. So
Yeah.
I split between that. And I think that that's something that other people also do. And yeah, but like oh my gosh, like I love reading. I like my copy The Alchemist. Like I just,
Okay.
I'm like a crazy reader and writer and all the things in between. So, yeah.
Well, I love it. I think that's a good answer for you, and I appreciate you breaking it down like that. So, with that being said, I'm going to take it all the way back. Bella, tell me where you grew up, and I want you to go all the way through college with that.
Oof.
Take as
All
long as
right.
you need to.
Oh, well, someone's got to hold it down in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Ooh. No, I'm kidding. That I grew up in a suburb of Connecticut and about I would say an hour away from the city.
Okay.
And my parents have a weird story there, but so I'm a military child.
Oh wow.
My dad went to West Point, which is a military academy in the United States, and my mom went to Fairfield University, so the university in the town of which that I grew up in. Her
Okay.
brother went there. beach town. She loved the school and studied nursing and ended up she's a nurse.
Oh
But
wow.
and my dad would sneak away from this military college to visit his best buddy who went to this college as well.
Okay.
He grew up in the main line of Philadelphia and would and the only weekend you don't get off in this military college. You cannot leave this military
Yeah,
college,
you
right?
going AWOL.
No, hell no. You're like my dad would like steal cars to like sneak off with it and you got to get back on post. It's a crazy story that's happened there. But anyway, towards like sophomore year you could swindle passes to like leave once in a while. So my dad would always be like, "Well, I'm going to go visit my buddy." And so my dad ended up going to visit this college for like this one party weekend and he met my mom on there's a place called the Point, which is like the point of the beach.
Okay.
And he met her and they ended up dating for like 2 years in college. And then he was like, well, shit, I gotta go. I got 5 years so of the military. You're in or you're out. And they got married at 20.
Holy smokes.
Woo! Yeah, ring by spring. And yeah, so they ended up and my mom and they're divorced now, so but that was the nature of things that those days. And that was
Yeah.
kind of my mom, my dad was an engineer and in communications. So his job in the military ended up being more, I mean, obviously you're on the ground, but he was very, engineering focused and very ops orientated, but it ended up being he was the general aide by the end of his time there. So, but
Oh wow.
they lived in Germany for 9 years. They were between Bosnia, Croatia. They lived in Dubrovnik for a while. And my mom, actually, it was pretty complimentary, could pick up nursing jobs anywhere that he went. So that's the
Yeah.
full story there. But my dad, or was it 9 years? About 5 years. So, anyways, my dad ends up getting a position at GE, which at the
Okay.
time was a powerhouse industry in the United States, and GE's head corporate was in Fairfield, Connecticut. My
Okay.
mom's like, great, I get to be back in my college hometown.
Absolutely.
And so my parents settle down in Fairfield, Connecticut, based on my dad's job, my mom loving the town. About also an hour away, my mom grew up on Long Island, and everything was kind of settled there. So they bought a house right on a main road there. At the time, you can buy a house at fucking 25, right? Like, no way.
Oh my God, it's just so crazy how it's not like that anymore.
Oh, no way, right? And
Yeah.
I get nervous checking out at Fairway. I'm like, holy shit, can I buy this cottage cheese right now? Like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
geez. So, yeah, so then I was the best in the first. I'm
Okay.
the oldest child of three. I have two twin brothers who are whew, right now their jobs include they're lifeguard they're 19.
Yeah.
They're in their summer of college and their only focus is boobs, beer, and beach.
Okay.
That's what they do. They man their lifeguards and they're saving up money for whatever. They're like the fraternity circle chairs or whatever. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, so grew up in Fairfield and that was like a very well off area. That county of Connecticut is probably one of the top incomes in like the country. It's a very
Holy
nice area.
smokes. Yeah.
Yeah. But so for me, I would say my childhood was very split. I'll be candid in saying like my parents were very well off, but till I was about 10. So I'm talking like, we went to a country club. We had a lovely home, dog, white picket fence type of thing. But a lot of, let's just say, turmoil was going down. My parents obviously getting married so young. How well can you know a person
You're still a kid at that time.
yeah.
You really are.
Yeah. And so the basis of that story is that so much resentment, so much pain, so much anger, and honestly, a marriage that probably should have never happened really transpired under the facade of everything is great. And that transpired into the way that I saw relationships working very early on, the way I saw transactional, I provide for you, I do this for you, oh, you do that for me. No one was happy. And
Yeah.
that was the start of how I saw alcohol introduced to my life, which I'll
Wow.
say very candidly became the sixth member of my family, of which I never could really see or understand because my parents both, in different ways, utilized alcohol to manage their
Oh,
emotions,
yeah.
used as, weapons between each other. And I saw firsthand how, in times of stress, struggle, strength, success, alcohol was the catalyst for everything.
Yeah.
And, and that transpired. The reason I bring that up is because that transpired into my story later on. But
Absolutely.
early on, that was a principle in the family dynamic. And
Hmm.
so, and then at age 11, my it's kind of a funny story. My parents went on their 40th wedding anniversary trip, which was a yoga trip. They went to Puerto Rico. It was supposed to be great, and my dad um fell in love with the yoga teacher.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, no, funny story. And now she's my stepmom. But
Oh,
I have
wow.
a lot of love for this woman, but
Yeah.
I yeah, so basically my mom was trying to have her fourth child, and well, the marriage was the marriage. Whatever
Yeah.
happened was that. But at the age of 11, my parents split. My dad went away, like kind of just went to go. At the time I didn't know this, but that woman also struggled with alcohol, and at the
Yeah.
time he was trying to help her with that. He went away, and my mom was left with this big old house, a freaking dog that she didn't want, broke her Achilles too at this time, and a lot of struggle and strength kind of went down there. So, but quickly, as it pertained to me, I went from I was in a very secluded neighborhood in
Yeah.
this beach town. I could like bike my bike to the country club. My world was this. My
Yeah.
world was very much so this. My world was a small conglomerate of other people whose world was like this.
Yeah.
And to be honest, one of the most transformative things that ever happened to me was realizing that life was not this little bubble. And I moved. My mom started to work night as a nurse, as a NICU nurse, a newborn ICU nurse. I
Oh, wow.
started to, we moved to a smaller, beautiful, but cozy Cape kind of house.
Okay.
And life started to get real. I
Yeah.
started to realize that, my two-parent home became one-parent home. My dad was in and out and
Yeah.
doing what he could. My grandparents were now involved. Everything kind of became uncertain, unaligned. Everything just became weird.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I didn't, I became also in the multifaceted roles of confidant, friend, advisor, as my parents both started to really lean on me to become
Wow.
their marriage counselor, the secondary parent, the person to fix everything, do everything in between.
That's not
So,
good. That's not
yeah,
good at all.
and that's what I did
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Oh,
Till
wow.
it
So
hurt. Yeah.
fast. And this is a couple things I want to say here, and then
Yeah.
I'll let you get right back into it because
No,
I
no, you're
start
good.
this from age stuff. One, you said that you said something along the lines of your parents never should have probably got together or something like that, but God meant for you to be here and for your brothers to be here, so that's the reason that you are here. There, even though God had that happen for a reason, so you could be here and so that you could come on this show today. One of the many lives that you have touched today, and the many voices are going to hear this that probably can relate to your story. So you're here for a reason, and so are your brothers. And I think it was just the three of you, right? You said so
Yeah.
far. Okay, so I just wanted to say that part first. Second part, that is a lot of weight you had to carry there. Divorces, I always say this, whether you're older, some people, being an older person, if couple separates, their parents separate, it can be very trying, and alcohol can be a way to get that figured out. Or I always wonder sometimes for a person who's younger, would it be better to not known that life? And it seems like you got stuck right in the middle. So it's no way is good either way. But your
Yeah.
parents, and then a lot of things I always say to people, sometimes they do get married too young and don't realize who they are. A lot of times in your 30s, you're really discovering who you are and you don't know. And so many people get married that early. I have a lot of friends that are divorced, and
Yeah.
some have been remarried. They got married in their 20s, several military ones too. Like it's just, it happens all the time. So,
Yeah.
but I commend you for being that person, and that is a lot of weight to put on a child, even an adult when their parents are maybe not on the same page and having to confide in that person because I don't think it's right. But then again, that parent doesn't know because they were still young when they were going through it, so it's not always
Yeah.
easy. But I want you to get back into what you were saying. I just had to say that a little
No,
quick.
and I have an interesting thing just in your landscape and with the people you're interacting with. Like, if you could give, so what are three questions that you think someone should know about themselves before they get in any relationship or maybe before they get married?
Three questions someone should know about themselves.
Yes.
Okay, one, I don't know if this is a question or not because maybe it's not technically a question, but you should know who you are yourself as an independent person, meaning the fact that you have to be comfortable in your own body and not codependent on someone else. So
Yeah.
I don't, that's not necessarily a question, but that's how I kind of feel because I know people that jump from relationship to relationship and they don't realize that, hey, sit by yourself for a bit. Figure out who you are without somebody being codependent. Because let's say, I know with my parents, when I almost lost my dad when I was a child, even though he's passed now, but I almost lost him when he was a child. And my parents always had the agreement that if one parent died, the other one would be able to fully take over. And then when my dad passed away from cancer back in 21, my mom was able to fully take over. So I think in knowing who you are about yourself before you get into a relationship is good as a solo person. Second thing is, I think that you should go on a vacation for a week or somewhere, like be with that person for a week.
Yes.
Because if you can survive that week, then you kind of know
Yes.
because you have to know who it is. You a lot of times they call it the honeymoon phase where everything's all great and all, but it can go real south when you start seeing the real person's traits. So I feel like being around someone for a week, you know whether you're not. If you want the person to stay, great. If you don't, go your second way. Like those are your two ways. So that's not necessarily a question, but that's my thought process for the second one.
Hmm.
The third one, I think you said the third one of what to seek in a relationship, or what was the question again? One more time.
Another, like, three things you should know about yourself
Oh,
before
about yourself.
you make that
Um,
commitment. Yeah.
the third, honestly, it goes back to the first one of knowing who you are personally, because
Yeah.
in your 20s, and in your 20s, you're different who you are than in your 30s. So I feel like you really need to know who you are as an independent individual and then have your own income, have your own setup. Not, no offense to anyone out there that's like this, but like not dependent on someone else to pay all the bills and stuff like that. Because for those people, it's happened countless times in history where, and then actually, I can see something for the guys out there. Don't be insecure about if your wife or your girlfriend makes more money than you are, because that's actually pathetic. And the reason I say that's pathetic is because there's a lot of insecure, toxic men out there that hate on their girlfriend, that hate on their wife for making more money than they do. And that's about them more than it's about that girl. But they take that out on them because there's a lot of insecure, I'm not going to use a bad word to say, but there's a lot of insecure men out there that need to figure that out. So I think having your own financial thing together, like, it's not that you have to make a lot of money or anything like that. You just got to make sure that you have your thing to rely on or fall back on in case something goes south.
I agree. I just saw this ASAP Rocky interview, and I love him. He talks about Rihanna in such a,
Yeah,
like, amazing way.
he
And he
does.
was and he was just so simple about it. He's like, why would I ever prey on that? Like, that woman, like, I make millions, she make billions. Like,
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Could every man, honestly, every man needs to take ASAP Rocky like advice because, first of all,
Okay.
that man's fingernails clean. That
Yeah.
man's outfit's amazing. And, like, he is proud about his woman.
Yeah.
And he's raising strong children.
Yeah.
Like, and that all starts too. I bet he had a strong foundation like that.
Yeah.
He had a strong foundation in knowing who he was as a person, knowing who he was as an individual,
Mhm.
not going into that relationship. I know that dynamic too. They were like friends before,
Yeah.
and then they started to cultivate like this relationship that was so strong individually that they
Yeah.
came together and they're like powerhouse. I'm like
Absolutely.
the biggest fan of them. Oh my God.
I am too. Now, so what
Uh,
were your three, or did you have anything to add? What would
no,
you say your
yeah,
three?
I was gonna say, I mean, obviously know yourself, but you know what? For me with the relationship thing, like, I never seek power, which is a big thing. I think that for someone going into a relationship, or like, it's a notion of, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I think that in relationships, you have to settle in yourself that in most things going into relationships, like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Like that's at the end of the day, a lot of times I'm and we can derail from the long run because
Oh, no,
this
you got
gets
time.
into
Look, the word
I got
I
time.
got time today, so you're good.
I and it kind of translates to the role I was with my parents. How lucky am I to be now? I don't have a long run of relationships, but what I
Okay.
do have is through osmosis of my friends' relationships. I really act as a person. A lot of my friends pick up the phone, they start going. They're like, Bella,
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, all right, give it to me. And I've always
yeah,
acted as kind of the advisory role in a
yeah,
lot of other people's relationships. And, the biggest thing I'm always telling, I'm like, do you want to be happy or
yeah,
do you want to be right? You get to choose, right?
yeah,
Because this argument, this back and forth, this like it's just and and to step back too, that doesn't mean that you cannot have, you know, I'm looking for this. This person hurt me. This person, you know. But at the end of the day, like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Do you want to be
yeah,
with this person? Do you want to win the argument? Do you want to seek the power? Do you want to seek the control? So I think that's a really big thing within relationships to get true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's all ego. It's
yeah.
all, it's all your ego wrapped into this. And it's all the ego of you're laying your head at the pillow, you're like, I was right. And then and you're like holding it, you're like, I'm right. And I've been there. I've been there in
Yeah,
relationships in my like self where I was like, all I wanted was to be right. And then the next day I wake up with like this, I wake up with this hangover of like,
yeah.
did I without
Was
did
it
I
worth
get
it?
anything out of that? You know? You're fighting with somebody and it's about something stupid and it's about and whether you're right or you're wrong, like did it matter? It was
Yeah,
all about the ego associated with it. And that's the long run thing. I think the second thing too is you have to recognize that this person is you have to recognize that life goes on with or without this person,
yeah,
regardless of whether love, marry. And it's the same thing you said kind of too with your mom and your dad, right? Like, I, you can obviously marry forever and ever, like those vows remain true, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, your reliance on this person cannot be stand still to your like presence here on this earth. Like, you cannot be like, I'm going to die without this person.
yeah,
I'm going to cease to exist. You can have a relationship that has needs and like we give back to each other, we have a dynamic, we have, we live together, like whatever the context of the relationship is, but your life does not seek to exist. Your presence, what you can give to this world, what you can give to other people does not cease to exist without this other person.
hmm,
And I think a lot of, I'll speak from the perspective of the girl, you feel somehow dissatisfied with yourself in some regard, whether that be worth, value, acceptance, whatever that notion is. And there's a lot to go along there.
yeah,
You seek it within someone else, right? Oh, this guy thinks I'm desirable. Oh, this guy, he makes me feel worthy because he tells me how smart I am or how hot I am or whatever and then one day it goes away. Or one
yeah,
in the relation, oh, he stops doing the little thing. And then you crumble because you built up so much of yourself in that other person. And although those things are nice, and of course you can be like, hey, like I really appreciated when you brought me flowers every day, and that what you cannot put so much bearing of yourself in the action, behaviors, communication of that other person.
yeah.
And I
No,
think that it's a big thing that I see. So,
all the time. Yeah. Don't get me. I'm not gonna go down too far with it, but yeah,
yeah,
no, you're right. Because I mean, once again, no offense to anybody out there, but like, I see. I know a lot of people, and I've seen certain people jump from relationship to relationship because I don't know what it is they're trying to find, but they just jump to relationship, and
yeah,
ultimately they end up settling for whoever. Or I've also seen where the person didn't really love the person, but they married for financial gains, and then they put the love into the children and don't actually love the person they're with.
yeah,
So it's more of a it's transactional and
yeah,
transactional on one side, and then on the other side, hey, this person is extremely good looking, I have this is the trade off. This person's really good looking. I have that, and then that person has me for the financial thing. And so,
Yeah.
and then so I've seen both ends of it, to say the least.
Yep. I
But
agree.
one thing I wanted to ask you was from going what was going on with your parents. You went to college too. What was high
Yeah.
school? So you're dealing with all this going with your family, but now you're growing up a lot faster than the people around you because you're dealing with stuff that most of them may or may not have to do. Yes, some do, but maybe not to the extent. So how did you go from 11 years old going into high school and college? Did you go to college? That's me with college. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so this is it's a very interesting spiel.
Okay.
I A big part of my story is being displaced. So I I was at the hands of a one of the largest, most expensive, most, I don't want to say high profile, but my family got very heavily involved in lawyers, legal divorces,
Oh wow.
GALs, and a powerhouse of um, external entities at the hands of the legal system. My
Yeah.
parents' divorce case went on for 10 years.
Holy smokes.
Yes, in terms of custody, alimony,
Yeah.
um, all of these things. My parents constantly fought each other for custody. I had GALs. There were legal requirements requiring me
That's the
to.
guardian ad litem, right? Whoops.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because not everybody knows about the guardian ad litem, by the way.
yeah. Do you know about it?
I do. I do personally. I don't have any kids or anything, but I
Yeah,
have people in my vicinity that, not vicinity, but I have people in my life that have had to go through that. So, one of my friends had to go through that.
yeah.
So I heard all about it, and I think he's been going through that for like, well, he's had to go through it for 18 years.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be the entity that represents the child,
Yeah. Does
right?
it? You feel? Yeah.
No, I'll say from my experience. Well, from my experience, my parents both had each other. They had personal lawyers, right, that represented each other. They both
Yeah.
went through about four or five. Honestly, my dad had one. He moved to another one. My mom had one who was supposed to be her friend, ex-husband. This guy was I believe he was also like he was a mess. Another one. My mom ended up at the end of her rope employing the most expensive personal divorce lawyer in the state of Connecticut.
Holy
My
smokes.
dad ended up employing a guy, a woman, a guy. These names became secondary characters in my home. Like
Yeah.
I'm calling Dan, I'm calling this guy. Like literally to the point of invasion of I had CPS involved in my life.
Oh wow.
I've had one of my parents went to jail one time. I've been ripped between houses, told that I cannot go to another house, told that I now live here. I now live here. I That was the story and cycle of my life from eighth grade to end of high school.
Bella, can you do me one favor? Can you
Yeah,
please go, for reasons I'm not going to mention, can you please go deeper into that and how that made you feel and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff for me, please?
Of course. No, I think it's so important to talk about it
Yeah.
because there's the umbrella of divorce, a kid who goes through a divorce. Obviously, everyone's like, oh, that's so, but that's 50% of the country.
Yeah.
That's not a terminally unique statement to say. But when you get down to the fact that this legal system that not abuses a family financially, emotionally, physically, and geographically to a state of I believe it puts you in a physiological state of panic of a
Yeah.
family, a child, because your life is absorbed in it. I believe now we have only my family personally has only come to have their head out of water within the last year. And
Holy smokes.
me and my brother, they're all over the age of 19, 20. Like
Yeah.
they're all older. Um, for me, it made me feel like I had two homes and no home at all. I
Yeah.
had no, of course, I felt like I was also controlled. Of course, I had a therapist. That therapist soon became legally bound to me, that I
Oh,
had to see her at certain times. There was supposed to be anonymity belonging to this. I soon believed that she was telling certain things to lawyers.
oh
I did not
wow.
know who to trust. I would also, during this time, and I will say full circle that I have a great relationship with both my parents individually now. I've had to
Yeah.
separate them because I cannot tell my mom that the conversation that I have with my dad. I cannot tell my
Yeah.
dad the conversation I have with my mom. At the time, my father was really struggling with his drinking,
Yeah.
and it's no secret that I believe too, at the time he had not even worked through things related to military PTSD. Yeah.
Was
Prior,
he in? I heard that you said he was in Bosnia. Was that during the Bosnian War and all that?
yeah, I believe so.
Bosnian
Yeah.
Serbian War. Okay, if it was in the '90s, it would have been.
Oh, yeah. 90, he
Okay.
was there 94 onward.
Yeah, then yeah, he would have been there right when all that was going on.
Yep. So a lot of things there. And prior to that, my father came from he's the oldest of 10 children.
Holy smokes,
So oldest of
baby
10
boomer.
children from a Roman Catholic home. Um, and a lot of feelings of excellence and achievement, always needing to be on top of things. There's a lot of things that go into the dynamic of my father. And
Yeah,
I'm only now at this point having to have a relationship that is calmer and understanding things from a different perspective.
yeah,
And my father at the time was severely abusing alcohol.
yeah,
And it and that transpired into the way that he would become a knight. And it's no secret to me that he would really subject me to certain treatment in the verbal sense.
yeah,
Yelling, screaming, that dynamic took place, and it became so bad that it was not safe for me to be with him anymore.
yeah,
And and my and but now who do I turn to but my mom, right? To tell her these things that are happening. And actually what that was the same thing that happened to her in the
yeah,
marriage. And her fears and her feelings towards my father, which were now riddled in hate, fear, resentment, and obviously dislike of my father because she's divorced to him, became catalyst for her suing him more legally and using. I became not a person, but a pawn, not a
like a weapon.
child, but a character in which to use in these legal battles over and over and over again. And I'm only now dissecting this that I have a relationship to perfection, avoidant, and making sure everything is fine on the outside because I was not allowed to fail. I was not allowed to be, I was not allowed, my grades were always a reflection of the parent I was with. If I ever struggled with natural cycles of depression or anxiety, it was always, well, she's living at the father's house. That's why. She's living at the mother's house. That's why. My weight, my physical state, oh, she's overweight, underweight. That's a reflection of the father. Oh, she's overweight, underweight. That's the reflection of the mother. She is doing good at her sports, bad at her sports. Like anything I did was, it became legal. It became, so for me, I had such a detachment to myself, had a detachment to I didn't feel like what I was doing or how I showed up in the family was even like important. Like I was just this pawn.
Yeah,
And it kind of showed up differently for my brothers they had similar metrics, but they were a little bit younger than me. I kept them in like a little bit of a
covered.
different bubble.
Yeah,
And especially my middle brother, he was always at a friend's house. He always just kind of went away, never wanted to deal, never wanted to be there.
yeah,
And my youngest brother he just kind of they kind of just stayed at friends' houses all the time.
yeah,
I was really the one that was in the mix of everything.
yeah.
So yeah, I lived with my mom mainly. It was like I know you're like it was my mom mainly, my dad every other weekend plus a Wednesday in middle school.
Okay.
But then um my dad did something called an ex parte, which is
Okay. Yeah, break that down first.
it's an immediate order of custody, and it removes the child from the home immediately. And
From the mom's home, in this
from the
case.
mom's home to the dad's home.
Okay.
Well, an ex parte can be whatever party is whatever.
It's called ex parte.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, and for context, at this point in my life, my parents both put clauses in the divorce agreement that neither of the parents can drink while they have cut while they
Ooh,
around the
that's
children.
good. Yeah, that's
It's
good.
good, but it's also completely it they would use it against each other. And they would ask the children, "Did you see your dad have a glass of wine? Did you see your mom have a glass of
Oh
wine? Is there alcohol
wow.
in each other's house?" They would come into each other's house, take photos of things. They would, it was used
Toxic. Yeah, very
toxic
toxic.
and methodically. And also my brother being the age of 10 or 11, like I don't know, like no one really knew. My father would like ask, grill on me about my mother. It just, and then I would be like, yeah, dad, like dad, it was very toxic. And at one point, my father asked us direct questions about, did your mother have a drink at this event? And we were like, yes, she did. And he used that piece of information for an immediate order of custody removal. And
Oh
it was
wow.
kind of shady, but it was
Yeah.
also through a little, it was during COVID.
Okay.
So
Oh,
the
not that
system,
far long ago.
and for me, that was my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So the court system was very backed up at this point, to the point that
Yeah.
cases weren't seen for months and months and months on end. Everything was on Zoom. And honestly, the basis of the situation is that an ex parte was supposed to be like for a week, and this ended up being like months that this didn't get. My mom didn't receive back her custody for like months, and I didn't see my mom for 2 years, actually.
Were you able to speak to her or no?
I was able to, but I was able to within a couple months, but I my I was I was very trained and very manipulated to kind of not have a relationship with her. I think a lot of the entities around me, I started to kind of fall into my father's depiction of my mother.
Yeah.
And he started to kind of make me feel like his his ideas of my mother started to kind of penetrate my brain.
Oh,
And it made me honestly hate her for reasons that I look back on and I do not have an idea of why.
yeah.
And that makes me feel so disorientated, because it once again was another way in which I had such a detachment to myself. I don't know why I stayed with him for these years and didn't go there, but it also was things related to car, like, oh, I might go to mom's for dinner, you can't use a car. Oh, you got like there was a lot of swindling behind it. And my brothers would go. My brothers, after the ex parte ended, they ended up transitioning back to an every other weekend situation. They were on a more normal schedule, but I was over 16 at the time, and I had
Yeah.
to kind of take control of where I was at.
Absolutely.
And during this time, so that was my sophomore year to my junior year of high school, but it was also COVID. So, and that was terrible. It
Yeah.
was just being locked in a house, alone, with the confinements of now my father's drinking that became very force and immersed into everyday life. And there's a big caveat to this, which I think
Okay.
will stem another conversation.
Yeah.
I Food was always very interesting in my life. Food was something that I used as another emotional control in my life. And I would say in middle school, it was always something that, you come home after school, you eat a bunch of snacks, and you're just kind of, my mom was very rigid with she liked her meals, and like we have meal time and we have family time, and snacks were only for, lunches and stuff like that. So I always felt like I was being sneaky,
Yeah.
a lot of things to do with that. And I started to gain a lot of weight my freshman year of high school. And it was a lot to do with naturally this turmoil that's going on in my family. And I started to really pick up kind of overeating habits. I wouldn't necessarily pinpoint it to a binge eating situation.
Yeah.
I started to order a lot of food. Uber Eats became a thing. Like I started to eat a lot of food, like just to kind of numb these feelings that I was feeling on the
Yeah.
inside. I had This is as honest as it gets. Damn, I'm gonna say it. Okay.
You don't have to go into it. I don't. You
Well,
don't. You don't
no,
have to.
I had a situation with a guy, and I thought I wanted this guy to like me. I didn't think this guy liked me. And at this point, I'm pushing 200. I'm a bigger lady.
Yeah.
And I, um, during COVID, I lose 100 pounds in 6 months.
Holy smokes! Holy smokes! Yeah.
And I do it basically out of a feeling of wanting to make this guy like me. I do it out of this confinement that I'm in my home. And I do it almost out of revenge and a seeking for control that I didn't have out of any of these scenarios.
Yeah.
I didn't have a control over my family situation. I didn't have a control over my like life at this point. Everything was different. And I really seeked control in everything. And I fell into it was drastic. Like it was I had came back into school and people didn't recognize me. They thought I was a new student because I dyed my hair blonde. I lost my glasses. And again, I changed everything about myself,
Yeah.
but I was still the same person on the inside. And I never, and that's a natural thing. And I wonder too, you're a fitness person, and
Yeah.
this stems into another conversation, like how I have done everything, and it's like the full circle of my life that translates into fitness and health. And I think that's the
Yeah.
next topic we can start to talk about. But
Okay. I
so
used to be a fat kid, so I trust me. The fat kid's
no,
the
no
one.
way. Yes.
Yeah, a fat kid's the one running the show. I just like.
Mm,
I had a guy on here yesterday, an actor producer named Neb Chupin, and he asked me the 18-year-old question that I asked later on. But if you go back to your 18-year-old self and tell him anything, what would it be? And it would be don't be so insecure. And the
yeah.
insecurity came from when I was as a child I was in shape, like really natural
Yeah.
shape. But then from like second grade all the way, I used to be like eat snacks and all that kind of stuff. I gained a whole lot of weight and I was big, but up until eighth grade, and then I started playing football and I lost all that weight. So and started
Yeah.
working out. So for me, even though I look this way and am in a lot of great shape, it sometimes I still always had a fear of, oh man, I was this big kid and all that kind of stuff. So that's where that kind of comes in with
You
fitness. So
get
now,
it. You get
yeah, I
it.
do understand it. Yeah, and so that's
So
where
what was
insecurities came
it?
from
So
that.
what was it for you? And and you naturally lost that? What was
You
was there
so
any bullying associated with the fat kid thing?
no, because I could really kick anyone's butt. But like
Oh, okay. All right.
so
All right.
but there's no bullying. I never got bullied or anything like that. For me itself was I just well actually you know what it was, and this is why I had to give my dad a whole lot of credit. So I was still not in the best shape going into my freshman year of high school. But my dad had me play football, and I was ready to quit after the first week of school. I mean, so after the first week of football practice because it was that tough. This is Virginia. It is 100 degrees
Oh,
outside.
that's like
Yeah,
hardcore.
and it's real football. And at the time, they weren't really giving us water breaks, so you were really going. If you got hurt, you couldn't mention the fact that you were hurt. And I had pulled my quad muscle. So basically, pulling your quad muscle feels like someone kicked you right in the center of the thigh, and your legs dislocated. So I was ready to quit after the first week. We went down to South Carolina. I remember telling my grandma, "Hey, grandma, can you get dad to like let me be able to quit football?" And my dad said, "I won't allow you to quit." The reason he did me the greatest favor in my lifetime is because of that is the reason that my acting career is the way it is today. That I've been able to accomplish as much as I've been able to accomplish because I had that I will never give up mentality. So I know so many people I started with in the acting business that have left it. I'm still in it working full time, 16 years in the acting business. So it's not well, acting's not really full time, like because you go in between jobs,
No,
but
but you have
it,
a don't quit mentality.
absolutely. So I did all those years out in LA by myself. I did the time in New York by myself the first time. I've gone to all these places, but that was all because my dad instilled in me, don't give up and don't quit. And I know a lot of people out there that have quit, and I'm just not, it's not in me because that was instilled in me. So that's why I wanted to mention my dad and that no quit mentality. And that's why my training and all that stuff, it all, football, sports, acting, that all relates to me because it's all part of my lifestyle.
Yeah, no, and that what a key thing to kind of like build a foundation on, because like, I don't want to say like the generation got soft. I don't want to be like old timer and whatever
Oh
like
yeah,
but like why
but
are
it
we all
has a
getting
little bit though.
participation? No, but like honestly though, and
Yeah,
we're all getting participation trophies and kids are playing a bunch
I
of
don't like
sports and
that.
things, and I don't want to quit. I want to no.
I don't like that at
I don't
all.
like that either.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
Also, I just want to say one quick thing about you saying with the generations down. It was important for me to mention this because you said earlier about how your dad grew up in a family of 10, and this is no disrespect to any of the older generation, but uh, men's in particular, a lot of my dad wasn't like that. Well, my dad wasn't like this at all. My dad was the most loving dad ever. I even talked about this at his funeral. But that generation before his, so it'd be like my grandfather's generation, they were raised really hard where the dads didn't show the love to the sons like they should. Like at a certain age, they just cut that love completely off. And I think that was wrong, but it's because you got to realize that that's almost three generations of shell shockness. That's World War II generation. That's World War One, World War II, Korean War, in the Vietnam War. So a lot of those people didn't, their parents weren't showing them that love. But I know when it came to my dad, which is more Vietnam generation, he always showed that love to his kids. And I think that maybe even your dad's case, he might have come from that generation where he wasn't shown that love, and maybe the girls in the family were. So that's why his style of parenting might be different. I'm not saying I'm not condoning anything he did, but I'm just saying something about that generation that a lot of people don't talk about.
It's actually interesting. It's more that it was so my grandfather is actually he's like a flower bed guy. He's a
Oh,
very loving person. So it's
okay.
but it's the one before him that I think had the struggle and the pain in that
Yeah.
generation prior. But so my dad comes from a long gray line, which means so his father went to West Point. All of my dad's brothers went to West Point.
Oh,
And
wow.
my father's side of the family is all West Point military.
Yeah.
It was my grandma's brother, my grandfather, my dad. It's three brothers and seven sisters in the
Okay.
10 children. Unfortunately, it's two of them passed away,
Sorry
two of
about
the
that.
sisters. Um, and but all the men, so all the men too were kind of very military trained.
Yeah.
But the my grandfather is like he's the scientist. He's kind of, I don't want to say nerdy, but like he's got this scientist background and a kind heart. So
Yeah.
it's more of this. And my dad also operated as a my dad was always shown this love and kindness, but he was always like, I'm going to prosper. I'm going to be my dad more had this reflection and image of all these children behind me and below me. I need to show them greatness. I need to show
Yeah.
them. And my grandparents, there's only so much two parents can do
Yeah.
for 10 children.
Oh, no, no. You can't
They're
love
like,
everybody the same.
what the.
Yeah.
And so I think there was the dynamic here that my father served as I don't want to say caricature, but as you're gonna be Darren, and then
Yeah.
all these children are gonna follow after you. So
Yeah.
you better buckle up and
Yeah.
be the great one, and and showcase what we can do here. So.
Yeah.
And I think that was and my dad's gone through really dynamic times, and but also, and so when he's shown up, like, I feel like my dad has had phases with me, because he in such different ways, because growing age 1 to 8, he's like the guy who's checking the report card.
Yeah.
I got boot camp on Sunday,
Oh, wow.
and but then 8 to 16, unfortunately, like, he's this he's this drunk, and he's
Yeah.
this person that, you know, and or he's this person that goes off and on. My dad is this, it's not all the time.
Yeah.
He's a very all or nothing person. And so it's like these 3 months, he won't even like eat grapes. Like, and he's very stern.
Discipline. Yeah.
And then it's the downfall of that. And then it's like and and I what do? I get mad at him. I'm gonna change. It's gonna and that's the dynamic. And but then it's also, and now it's this come around where we both are in this phase of relearning ourselves and
Yeah.
relearning. My dad is, for the first time in his life, single. My dad is
Mhm.
not since age 19, not since age 8, but I was
Oh,
only
wow. Yeah.
yeah, no, like, he and I'm only hearing the stories now. It's quite something, I don't. Ooh, it's so funny. I went out in the East Village the other day, and there was a song playing. I was like, "What is love?" And I like said it.
Baby,
It
don't hurt
hurt
me.
me. And my dad's like, right,
Yeah.
like,
The
whatever.
SNL
He's like,
skit.
oh my God,
Not
oh
at the
my God,
Roxbury.
yeah,
Not at
no,
the Roxbury. Yeah.
full circle on that. But anyway, so at the end of so my high school,
You said the
I
100-pound things too, Bella. You were saying that you just completely changed yourself and people didn't recognize you. You mentioned a guy too. But yeah, continue.
yeah.
I just want to make sure you heard
So
that. Yeah.
and that so I for me there was a little section of this which I wanted to lose weight. Weight had always been something that I was like, oh, I noticed the weight gain. I was playing sports and I couldn't find this dynamic, right? I couldn't find this dynamic between being fit, being sport, like you gotta fuel. I was like, what the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed this weight gain, and I this guy situation set up this dynamic of now, and this is the one caveat I give to anyone losing weight. It wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't for me from
Really?
the beginning. From the beginning, I wanted to, I was doing it out of this almost angrily. I was like, well, I'm gonna make everyone, I'm gonna do it out of revenge for this guy, and I'm gonna do it so that I can be seen as, worthy and valuable. Like it wasn't intrinsic and it also wasn't long term. I was always like, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm always gonna be losing weight. And like I wanted
Yeah.
to just lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And I wasn't crafting initially, and this is the full circle of it all, a lifestyle,
Yeah.
which as you know
Got to
is
maintain it.
you got to maintain it. And I was always focused on the cut, cutting calories, counting calories, weighing things. Like, and I was always focused on what other people are doing, the what I eat in a day, is the like, what are the, okay, this person's only eating broccoli and carrots. Okay, I'm gonna eat broccoli and carrots. Okay, I'm gonna eat the lowest calorie. Like, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. And I was diagnosed with anorexia, like that. Well, that's part of my story. And but I also wasn't I would also play the scale of like not being categorically underweight, this whole BMI thing. And this whole, for me, so this summer goes by. I have from January, whatever, May, what's the day the world ended? Like April something, May something. Yeah.
You got me lost me there.
The
With
world, the COVID happened. It was like
Oh, that happened.
April.
That happened March. It happened March 8th because I was filming Blue Bloods in New York City, and then on March
Okay.
8th, everything in New York City shut down, and I flew out on the 7th. I
Okay.
barely got out in time.
March 12th, now I'm remembering. March 12th was when my school, like, this is, if you were in school, it was like 2 week break. We're all gonna take a 2 week break, and like,
Yeah.
no one got anything from their lockers. They're like, all right, I'm gonna come back, right?
Yeah.
World
Oh
shut
wow.
down. Yeah, no, of course not. Like, you're like 2 week break. This is amazing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I have some friends over after school, whatever. He's like, all right, I'm gonna make tacos or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And so and at this, but then like literally when we're doing everything on Google Meet and it's like terrible. And so, but that from that time on, from that summer, I just spend my time like literally, I'm like sleeping until 2 p.m. I have such a weird eating schedule. At first, I have such this anxiety about like me and this guy, and I'm so like angrily working out and like not eating and walking all the time and like doing this like I'm just so obsessed with food and eating food and not eating food. At the beginning, it was more that I was like OMADing and I was doing like one meal a day because my sleep schedule was off. And then I started to learn about food. And for me, this learning became compulsive. This learning became, how do I eat the lowest amount of food? How do I eat the least amount of calories? How do I,
Yeah.
get myself to work out as much as possible? Because at this time too, I'm a swimmer in high school.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm
What's your
swimming.
stroke?
I was a backstroker because I smoked so much weed in high school that I didn't have the lung capacity.
Okay.
And I also was the 50 free in
Yeah.
the medley, or I was honestly at that like I was a pretty good swimmer when I was in freshman year, but I was so malnourished at the end of it. They're like, dog, just do anything, like just
Yeah.
whatever you can do. And I was like, all right. So I was a team pep leader in most
Okay.
sports. I'm not even gonna lie, I was terrible at these sports. Like I was
Okay.
not
At
good.
least you admit it. At least you admit it.
Like I was on like JV, like lacrosse, like senior year.
Yeah.
Actually, I got cut from lacrosse team senior year. I got
Okay.
an email that said I was I showed up a little hungover to the what is it, the tryout.
Holy smokes.
Oh, that story, we'll get there. Well, because I was like, you're gonna let me on, you're gonna let me in. And I got an email that was like, you've been promoted to manager, no jersey included. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, no jersey included. I was like, oh damn,
Yeah.
and my mom's like, I'm gonna send an email. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
like
you good.
I've accepted my piece here. So
Yeah.
I don't think I even did lacrosse senior year, but I for swimming, I kept doing swimming because I was like, this is great cardio. Like, this is fantastic. And on a real note, swimming was so therapeutic for me, the repetition of the strokes. I really enjoyed swimming, and I always want to get back in the pool.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I fainted in the pool due to my
Oh, wow.
malnourishment. Swimming became a means to an end of just working out, and I was already getting up at 6 a.m. to do a hot power yoga class, walking
Yeah.
15,000 steps a day and eating 200 calories.
Jesus.
So, and I was losing 4 pounds a week, like
Yeah,
lit
you can't sustain that with what all the stuff you're doing.
no. And so at this point, I it was at first like, my I'm living at my with my dad and my stepmom at the time, and everyone is praising me at this point because you're in a larger I start to look better from an outside perspective. I
Yeah.
start to, I'm starting to eat salads, and I'm starting to from the outside everything look better. And my dad, no critique per se to him, I started to just he was like, great. Like a main catalyst of my parents, remember this, divorce case, Bella is overweight. This is a problem. Whatever household Bella is overweight at is a problem. Like, you need to
Yeah.
fix this. And so my dad's like, great, she's no longer overweight. I'm a better parent than her mother.
Yeah.
By October, by my birthday, I have lost like 60 pounds, and but my hair is falling out in
Oh, wow.
in school. I remember going to school one day, and my it came out in balls. And by my birthday, I realized I don't have a menstrual cycle. I don't
Oh, wow.
have My period hasn't been there in 2 months. And there have no reason for there to not be a menstrual cycle. And I did not have a menstrual cycle for 5 years. Yeah, so I actually, and this is something too that became there's such a reason why I am so it means so much to me for anybody in the health and wealth and fitness space to be so intuitive and careful about this sort of thing, and why I value a comprehensive understanding of health and fitness and food and all that, because I had gone through recovery a year after this, and it
Mhm.
took 3 more years for me to get my body to a state of comfortability. And I will
Yeah.
give the caveat, this is when I started to drink. And
Okay.
when you are so malnourished and you are so underweight, it's Blackoutville.
Yeah,
It's
but say
just
you're getting, yeah.
there's no good end to the story. And so this is when things started to really ramp up. So now I am really suffering. I'm like But this time, so the only time me and my mom would see each other are birthdays, Christmas, Easter.
Yeah.
And my mom goes, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh,
Like,
really? She's noticing something. Like, yeah.
she sees me in Easter and she sees me in October, and I'm 100 pounds
Yeah.
lighter. And she's like, and my mom,
She's a nurse too, so she's
she's a
obviously,
nurse.
yeah.
Yeah, and my mom in college was hospitalized for anorexia. And my
Oh,
mom personally, so and again, understanding all of this is important because I have genetic predisposition. My dad's out of the seven sisters, I would say that 80% of them have eating disorders.
okay.
There's a lot of eating disorder than my dad's side of the family. There is
Yeah.
a lot of eating disorder than my mom's side of the family. No one, and
Hereditary, a
no
lot
one
of the
let me
stuff that you,
know. No one said
yeah.
anything to me. No
It's
one said
all
anything.
genetics. It's basically genetics and heredity. It's genetically in your system too. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
yeah.
to be predisposed to this.
Yeah,
And
that's the word I was looking for.
no one let me know, and no one also, because when you come from a larger body and you lose so much weight, and I'm also at this point I'm teetering I hate this word normal, but let's just give the catalyst of a normal woman-sized body. Like I wasn't stick and bone and I didn't look gaunt yet.
Yeah.
So, but I was not eating and I was not healthy and I did not have a period and my hair was falling out. But those
Yeah.
things didn't matter because someone looked at me and they're like, all right, like normal looking woman. And that is a huge problem that we're having today, where
Okay.
the behaviors and all these situations are still unhealthy. And you look at a person and it's only based on your BMI. It's only based on on this basal metabolic rate that is
Yeah.
100 years old. That's
Yeah.
not, but I soon started to become categorically underweight. And that started to happen October, November, December of that year. And then what happens as well? Legal system. My mom started to get involved. And to her positive point, I this started to become so bad with me and my dad, right? Where now like he notices, but his only military metric is do what I say, eat
Yeah.
like
Or yeah.
we're not having a connection here. So
Yeah.
now like I'm throwing cooking oil at his face, like trying to dodge things, this I mean it's a funny story now and
Is it how you? Is that? It's
I
like
know
how you're
it's
pronouncing. How
kind
you're
of
saying it's
funny
funny. It's
because
not. Yeah.
well I'm over here like hiding egg whites in the garbage running out of the house and he's like what the fuck are you doing and I'm like
Yes.
because I think anorexia has a funny story of somehow acting you act like a crackhead you act
Okay.
like a because eating
Yeah.
disorders mimic addictive behavior that norm
Okay.
it mimics a way of thinking that is so insane in the brain that and it's real like it's
Yeah.
100% real but you're at this point where you're so in depth with patterns and behaviors and control mechanisms that it consumes you.
Yeah.
And love to both my parents, they both had the same end goal, but the dynamic with my father too just was not helping because he did not have the same he also was struggling himself with
Yeah.
this alcoholic situation. There was no win there. And and then and he would only be like, you have to sit here and eat this plate, and that and I would like it didn't work. And
Yeah.
at this point too, I started to recognize that the patterns in my father's house, I'm not gonna be, I should not be here.
Yeah.
And so, and my father was moving at this time, and me and my mom started to get closer through recognizing that we had faced this similar thing. And I made the decision to kind of without my dad knowing, move myself out of his house as he was moving
Yeah.
and move into my mom's house with the understanding that she would a big thing for me with a car. I didn't have a car in high school. I was like I always felt displaced. And my mom would like, you need a car. I'm gonna, I she bought me a green Jeep called Kermit. I love this car.
Okay. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that. I like
I
that.
love this car growing up. And she goes, if you start to get help for this. And
Oh wow.
so that was a big catalyst to me finally at senior year, rekindling my relationship with my mother, moving back in, and finally feeling like I could have consistency over what parent I see and not be so swindled into like I could be at my dad's and all right, it's time for me to go back here. It's time for me. The car allowed me this freedom a little bit, and that
Yeah.
is an important thing for me. But I started to become like me having a car became a very important pattern in my life, and we'll get to that. But that was so important. And me and my brothers always have a lot of stories about this green Jeep named Kermit. And now,
Herman.
oh, Kermit, we've had very funny stories. The town kind of knew like this was our car, right?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a suburb? Like, did you
Oh
have,
yeah, I did. I do. Yeah, I grew up in a suburb of Virginia called Short Pump area. So yeah, I did grow up in the suburbs.
did you ever like recognize people by their cars?
Uh, the only probably only one. Actually, you know what?
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
right?
I knew my best friends. I knew their cars, but I didn't know. Well, yeah, you know what? Kind of, because I had friends that had Jeeps, and you always knew that was that
Yes.
Jeep. But for some reason, we really didn't run into each. I don't know why, but for some reason, we really didn't run into each other as much as you would think in Virginia. Maybe Virginia's bigger than a
Oh,
beach, but you were in a beach town. You said, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's probably more. Mine was
Oh,
pretty. Our city was big.
oh. You would have loved it. You would have
Oh,
loved
trust me, I know
it.
I would have.
No, well, this is a funny. So, like, everyone went to go like park at the beach. Like, you're like, oh, we're gonna go park at the beach. And if I lived in the time where like you had Snap Map at this point, so like
Okay.
you would be zooming in. You're like, oh my God, my friend's bringing a girl to the beach, and you would
Oh
pull
wow.
up behind them and honk your horn. This was brutal. Living in this age was
Yeah,
brutal.
that's
And
wild. Yeah.
it's so fucked when you have your like mom suburban and you're like and then you got all your friends like you think you're secluded, right? You're like, okay, we got a good parking spot, we're
Yeah.
getting it going, and then someone comes up behind, flashes their lights, like, or you just oh,
Wild.
worst. Living in a beach town is very fun. It's very great. A lot of, and also during this whole high school thing, like there wasn't, I mean, there was parties and stuff, but the biggest thing was just you drove around, you got for me, honestly,
Yeah.
it was just like I was very scheming. Like I was
Yeah.
very, and I kind of had in a different way the don't quit energy, but it was always for getting drugs and
Yeah,
alcohol.
they're on,
It
the
was the
bad
wrong
stuff.
thing. And for me early on, like I was the first one to get a fake ID. I was the first one to, and before getting the fake ID, I'm swindling the bodega guy. I am getting
Yeah.
us what we need to get very early on. And more importantly, because I am recognizing this now, this displacement and this disorientation towards in my family unit, I needed to feel wanted, needed, understood, supported, and valued. And
Yeah.
I learned to be able to do that through always getting everybody what they need. And
Yeah.
when you're 16, 17, 18, what's that?
Yeah.
Circumstantial. And so I did that very early on.
Yeah.
And I started to probably drink when I was 16, 15,
Yeah.
and started to smoke weed earlier than that. And it all boiled into the eating and the working out and just the control and then the feeling the value and worth. Like I remember feeling like if I could get everyone these drugs and alcohol, if I could take away all this stuff that's happening with my family, this is it.
Yeah.
This is bliss. This is like I remember that feeling of being in like someone's basement and drinking to the point of like getting it all the way.
Yeah.
And that was the best feeling that I ever felt
Yeah. Because it
at
was
that
numbing
point
and
in
all
my
that
life.
stuff. Bella, I did want to say this real quick. First off, you are the biggest blessing. I got to thank your parents because even though I have to thank them because your life story is going to help so many. I can't even, I wish I could tell you, but I can't. But the amount of stuff that you've told today, you've seen your survivor story because you could have easily been on the news. You could easily not be here today. And you are actually, everything you've mentioned for kids that are going through that right now, this is and what parents that are so stuck in their dumb ways of not paying attention and worried more about weaponizing their kid instead of what their kid needs. This is what could happen and by God's good grace, you were able to turn it around here to get to where you are today. But I appreciate you going so deep and in depth. And I just had to tell you that real quick
Oh,
because
thank
it's
you.
important that people hear it. But
Thank you.
you're good.
No, you know what, and that's a big thing of why I used to live my life in a lot of dishonesty, and I've chosen in like the last year to live my life with honesty because you don't know how much that helps someone else.
Yeah,
You don't know how much your story, your vision, what you've gone through helps someone else. Like it has been the moments when other people have been honest with me where I've been like, thank you, you
yeah,
know? It's just it's reciprocal and it gives back in so many beautiful ways. And that is what like my life has been a showcase of. And I appreciate you for saying that. I really
yeah. Of
that
course,
that
of
makes
course.
everything. And
No,
I'll streamline a little bit here just for my high school kind of the end of it became okay, everything that's gone on, I now know how to nub it all out.
yeah,
And that became an equal mix of food and alcohol, and then became really alcohol. And I, my, honestly, my relationship was very much so blackouts very early on. I wasn't scared of them. I wasn't. I always had a that was my situation. I
Yeah.
always wanted to drink to the point of not remembering, not feeling, not anything. And I never had a problem with that. That
Yeah.
was kind of natural to me. And I also think that being so physiologically like malnourished, it was
Yeah.
so natural, instantaneous. Like I could remember like not it hit me so early. And even so then, kind of being like, all right, okay, I'm waking up, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I got a penis on my arm that someone drew.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
that's kind of funny stuff. But more importantly, I started to recognize very early on, this is not happening to other people.
Yeah.
Everyone else is having a couple seltzers. I mean, you have your heavy people and everyone learning how to drink. But
Yeah.
toward the end of my senior year of high school, this is not the way
Um,
that I feel towards alcohol and the way that I am feeling internally that is so morally displaced. I'll use
yeah.
that word because, I'm me when I'm sober. I have the things and the values and the understandings and the stuff that like attribute to me. And then I have me when I'm drinking.
Yeah.
And those people are so separate. And I'm really at odds with that situation. I would wake up, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have 3 drinks. Like that's a reasonable amount. That's, that gets me that, that's one, two, three. I'm gonna okay. And from age 18 to age 21, every single night that I started to drink, I would tell myself, I'm gonna have 3 drinks.
Yeah.
And to this day, I have never had 3 drinks when I went out because
Oh,
that is really just not the way that's not the way I go about it. That's not the way
yeah.
that my nature, my nurture, whether it be that or that, goes about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so high school there's also a big caveat to say here about my mother and I relationship, which is now so amazing and I'm so grateful for it. But we bonded a lot on both the similar instances we had with my father and our attunement to drinking. And
Yeah.
that became the basis of our relationship when I was senior in high school. And also I was committed to a college in high school. So I was committed to Providence College, which is the college I went to for 4 years, at
Okay.
October of my senior year of high school. So and this sounds so crazy, but like, how was she drinking so much in high school? Like, I was so all or nothing. I was so go-getter. I worked 2 jobs in high school. I saved up $10,000 of my own money.
Oh,
I
wow.
was up at 7 a.m. I worked after school. I was just so all, and then like the weekends were just party.
I
And
was,
that was
yeah.
the way I ran my life for so long.
Mhm.
In college, I got up at 5 a.m., cold plunge, went to hot yoga, came back after school, did all my classes, worked at a waitressing job, came home, Monday through Friday was so rigid, and then Friday through Sunday was just gung
That
ho.
was, yeah.
And that was the way. So to preface all of that, my parents and any entity around me was like, she's fine. She's
Yeah.
fine. I'm always making money. I'm always fine on the outside. My life didn't get surface level catastrophic,
Yeah.
but internally I was miserable.
Okay.
Miserable with the way that drinking and drugs and honestly stripping that away, control over everything in my life. I wanted to control you, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mother, your uncle, your I want to control the plans. I want to control where we go to dinner. I want to control what you get on your plate. I want to control the appetizer you get. I want to control what time. My days were
Yeah.
time blocked every 15-minute increments.
Oh, wow.
Seriously. And I
Yeah.
would lose my mind if things were off this relentless control plan that I had over life
Yeah.
because I felt that I was a slave to life all the time. Life that had passed me by, opportunities that did not suffice me, think people that left. I was at odds every day
Yeah.
because things were out of my control growing up. And I couldn't come to terms with acceptance of that.
Mhm.
And to transpire, a lot of college was just that cycle. The biggest catalyst of that was being in a cycle of behavior that perpetuated it. because at first drinking was fun, and then it was
Yeah.
fun with problems, and then it was just problems.
Yeah.
It was really just it. And I fell in a, I'm so happy that I really did find some good friends in college and I remained
Good.
really close with them.
Yeah.
And but I also coasted on this like I'm gonna hang out with a heavy drinker, then we're just gonna chill there. And I had so many moments in college in which I am so lucky to be like alive.
Oh
Like
wow.
just, I was in Europe for 6 months. I lived in Milan. Like I have sporadic moments of being in policia cars, like kicking doors out of, yeah,
Did you study abroad? Is that what you mean? You
I
studied
did.
abroad? Okay.
Oh yeah.
What was your major, and then how did you end up studying abroad? What did you study abroad?
Yeah. So just segue on that, like I committed to Providence College in senior year, and I was so excited to go. I applied into the college as an social anthropology major, which
Okay.
I had no idea what it was. And I thought no, I was, because everyone's like, just, do something. I thought I was going to
Yeah.
be so cool. I want to ask you this. I was history and English. Like those were my
Okay.
strong suits in high school. What were you?
History is always my strong suit in high school, and I love writing. I'm a great writer, and so history and writing with my history and writing.
History, yeah,
Yeah, so they were because I was terrible at math. I wish I was
me
good
too.
at it because then I'd be making money like half the people in here in New York. But
Yeah.
I
Hey,
history
yeah.
and math are my things. Yeah, history, math, and then like yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, no. But
But
the
I was
yeah.
communications in school and in college, which I
Really?
was a broadcast journalism major with the public relations in there and the minor in sport entertainment management. I excelled at all those.
Wow.
So
Something in me. I thought you were going to be math and science. I'm
no,
shocked.
if I was math and science, as I said, I'd be making money like people I'm close with here in New York that are making money because I'm like, but no, that they were accountants and stuff like that. No, I was, yeah, communications. Like I was always good at speaking. I could talk to anybody pretty much, but it's just that I wasn't I didn't want to report on people. Like I feel like I knew that what God gave me. And I'm like, why am I reporting on this person when I'm just as good of an athlete as this person, if not better? But this
Yeah.
person had more opportunities or knew the right people in the situations that we were in. So it's I was a great football player, but I went to a crappy high school where they didn't really help out. Whoops, me and my brother are both star athletes, and so I like it. Anyway, that's the situation. So end up doing communication and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I have to say though, you're don't say that you like the whole like the if you did math or science or whatever accounting, because accounting is, if you had an accounting degree right now, it's getting
Yeah.
taken over by AI,
Oh
100%.
yeah.
Accounting and finance, seriously, the people, I just graduated college.
Yeah.
People who are in accounting and finance degrees are fucked. They are not
Yeah.
getting jobs. They are not getting anything. They are sitting in, if anything, they're sitting in mundane desk jobs that are
Yeah.
going to be done in 6 months. So I am
That's
grateful.
well.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I didn't do that. And honestly, we can probably get into the whole topic if a 4-year degree is even worth it these days.
Oh
But
yeah, we'll save it for we'll do another
save it for
episode on
another
it.
time.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
so long story short, I went to the first day in the summer of seeing these teachers for a social anthropology major. And I walked in, I'm this blonde bimbo. I'm once again hungover. I threw up in a Popeyes Taco Bell on the way there. A Popeyes and a Taco Bell. It's a Papa Taco Bell. Of
Okay.
one Papa Taco
Yeah. Oh
Bell
yeah. Yeah. The combined ones. Yeah.
combined on the way there. And yeah, so I walk in, but I'm like, okay, like fantastic. Like I'm like, oh yay. And everyone in there is like dark and like dark, like they're just like a one girl like wearing like eye makeup, and like the
You don't
other
need
guy is
that
like
right
wearing
now.
Birkenstocks. And
Yeah.
I'm from a beach town in Connecticut. Like, good morning.
Yeah.
Um, and the like teachers look at me, they're like, "Do you know where you are?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I'm a social anthropology like major." Like, and they're like, and they start really talking down to me, and they're like, "This is like we're gonna study classics and all this." And I start crying in the bathroom because I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't think I can, like I don't know. Like I thought this was gonna be like learning people, like learning
Yeah.
social
That would be
anthropology.
like sociology
I don't
or
know."
or
And yeah.
anthropology. One of the
Social,
two.
yeah, I thought this could be sociology
Yeah.
or whatever. And so the advisor person, he's like, "Hey, like I'll send you right to the office. Maybe you can change your major. You
Oh,
can
that's
change your
good.
major."
Yeah,
He's
of
like, "I don't
course.
like that." He's like, "I don't like the way these teachers are talking to you."
Yeah.
And so in high school, I did AP economics. I did AP, so I did AP computer science. I did AP COGO, which is comparative government and politics. and I did some other, I don't even know,
I mean,
something.
so you're extremely smart, actually.
And I did something. I was there,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I was like, okay, econ. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do economics. And I did. And I that was my degree. I was an economics major and a film and video minor, which is
Okay.
I was the only person in my college when I applied for it to be that dissertation. And they were like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to be a film and video minor and I want to be an
Yeah.
economics major." And now it is I'm very happy with that. And I think it has been the most comprehensive understanding of me being both creative and analytical. And
Yeah.
to segue, I am on the investment team of a VC in
Okay.
Soho. Do you know what venture capital is?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get fully into why, but let's just say that yes, I very much know.
Have you ever like are you a founder of some sort?
Oh no, 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 not yet. On some, but I
Not
have something
yet.
down. I have something down the road. That
We'll keep
someone in that
talking.
business is. Yeah, but I know someone that works high up in that world.
Yeah. And that's how I found myself in that industry is so interesting, and I love VC. Like
Yeah,
I love VC. I love when people pitch to me. I love, seething out product market fit. If this is, competitive landscapes, I love, and even financial diligence, like understanding like where this company really is, where capital can be infused in order to, any of that, like, and understanding if this is a good investment for us.
yeah.
And assessing risk, assessing any of those situations. And I mean, personally too, like my company is sector agnostic, so
Okay.
we see anything, biotech, fintech, healthcare. I'm over here trying a mocktail. I'm over here learning about your Australian fintech consumer company.
Yeah.
I'll look at an AI lymph node detector. I'll look at a beverage. Like it doesn't matter, and I'm so immersed in that. But
Okay.
and I had no idea going into econ. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. And I picked the film and video minor in my junior year, but
Okay.
so I just started. I was like crying day one, and I just started. And
Yeah.
it was great. I really enjoyed it. And I had to do a couple classes, accounting, finance, all that. I just made it balance. I was like, fuck this. Like I like couldn't, I didn't really like those classes, quite frankly. But
Yeah.
anything econ, I was like, I can graph. I was like, I can do this. Like I'll figure it out. And I ended up, I think I tutored a little bit in econ.
Okay.
And econ a little bit toward the end of it was like regressions stuff. So I ended up doing so for growing up I went to West Virginia and I built houses for
Okay.
in like deep Appalachia. So I went on service trips to and with my youth group and we built houses or helped out with houses for people who like needed it, right? And
Yeah.
a big part of that was me understanding food insecurity in
Yeah.
those are you you're well you were in Virginia, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Virginia, West Virginia, very different though.
No, no,
But
I know. I'm
yeah,
very familiar, but like you would understand kind of the problem in the United States
absolutely.
undergoing. So, and that isn't specific to West Virginia or specific to Appalachia, but for
Yeah.
me personally, that was the first time a girl from Connecticut would ever understand, like, okay, in this mild and mild of places, the only place to get food is a Piggly Wiggly or a fish.
Oh wow, Piggly Wiggly. You're the
Hell
first
yeah.
person I heard of outside of South Carolina that knows what a Piggly Wiggly is.
I know Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. I was like, oh my God. Like you could have seen me. I was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. A Piggly Wiggly, a Family Dollar,
Yeah,
like
all those.
and so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like at first, I was like, oh my God, my dollar stretches so much. Like I can get all the sugary cereal that my mom never let me get on this one trip, and I can get all the soda, right? And it's like $5. Like I'm like, this is
Yeah.
amazing, right? But then I realized when I went to these people's houses, like there's no produce. There's no tomatoes. There's no onions. There's no lettuce. And more importantly, like the milk, there's no like where there's no in miles and miles and miles, they're in food deserts.
Yeah.
These people are in food deserts. And that and I'm looking at the dynamic of this household and in the least offend I'm not trying to place bets here, like place
Oh, you're good.
generalized comments, but you know, this is leading to nutritional deficiencies, obesity. It's later in the line leading to physiological problems, metabolic deficiencies, over being overweight leads to bone density, underweight, bone density problems. Anything related to that leads you to have a large surgery, gastric bypass, anything like that. Those large surgeries further lead you to a pain medication that you have to be
Yeah.
on post surgery. Those pain medications are prescribed by a doctor. A doctor eventually leads you to not have that prescription anymore, but now you're dependent on this pain medication. Oh
Yeah.
no, I need to find something to supplement this pain medication. I'm going to seek to on the street supplements for that. This is a problem that is cycled in and out of America, but
Yeah.
starting in these places that have food deserts, which leads to food insecurity, which leads to nutritional deficiencies, which leads to, metabolic or physiological problems, which leads to large surgeries, which leads to chemical dependencies, pain problems, etc. And eventually cycles of addiction are happening in the United States. That
Dope
was my,
sick.
yeah, and that was my undergrad thesis for
Okay.
my economics. That was my college thesis. So
Okay.
food insecurity in the United States. I wanted to find socioeconomic factors that relate back to food insecurity in the United States. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, Bella, I have to say one thing real quick. I will have to talk to you offline about this thing that I have, but I've been using it for a year. I created it myself. It's in the AI world. I've only given it to 4 people that can't work without it these days. And so my goal is I just want to sell what I created. And if I get 7 figures for it, I'm good. And I'll go on to my next thing. But basically, my
You
whole
want to
entire thing,
exit? You want to sell it?
yeah.
Huh. All
I,
right.
I mean, I have it works perfectly. A friend of mine who makes it already makes way more. I helped him with this company with it too, using this thing that I created. But yes, AI thing, and it's really freaking awesome. But
Ooh.
so yeah, so I guess you're probably the person to talk to. So the week after next, I already have everything written out the whole time. I mean, I created from start A to Z. I was up 4 days. It took me 4 days to make.
Whoa. Okay, quick. You work fast.
No sleep.
I know, I'm
No.
sure. I'm sure. You're like wired in, getting it all
Yeah.
done.
But yeah, I'll have to talk to you about that online. I don't want to hold you too long, so I might go into the lightning round, but I can always have you back.
Let's go lightning round.
All
Let's
right,
do
sounds
it.
good. Yeah, my camera, my light died. I was like, all right.
No, you're
Um,
good.
no, Bella, first off, you've been phenomenal today, like literally phenomenal. And I'll
Uh,
have you back. I'm also going to talk to you about this thing off the line. I got to probably have you sign NDAs and stuff like that, but we'll
of
figure it
course,
out.
of course.
So lightning round, this is quick one-offs or whatever. So Fairfield, Connecticut in 3 words.
Ooh. Beachy bubble beautiful. Beachy
Okay.
bubble but beautiful.
All right. I love it. Let's see here. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person. I'm up at 5:10.
Okay. Hot power yoga or traditional gym workout?
Oh, hot power yoga. Always. Tired.
Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Stop. Dead Poet Society. I'm a
I love that movie. My Captain, My Captain.
what's it called? Carpe Diem.
Yeah, seize the day.
Mhm.
A movie you wish you'd written.
God, a movie I wish I'd written. Federico Fellini, 8.5.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I don't even know what that
Gotta see
is.
it.
Okay. Most underrated quality in a person.
Hmm. Underrated quality in a person
Yeah.
is tenacity.
I got a lot of that.
Hmm.
uh, biggest green red flag. Biggest green flag when you meet somebody.
Um, Biggest green flag when I meet someone
Yeah.
is humor right off the bat.
Okay. Biggest red flag.
Um, hmm. This is so weird, but like cracking their knuckles right immediately.
I'm pretty sure I just cracked my knuckles.
No, no, but like meeting
uh,
you and like
yeah.
cracking. I don't know,
Okay.
like trying to intimidate me with like a
Oh,
cracking.
I got you. I got you.
I don't know.
What's something people assume about you that is completely wrong?
Intimidating. I got that a lot. And
Really?
I'm really okay, you should have seen me. I wore sunglasses in bars in college and I was
Okay.
I was pretty bitchy. I will say. I've come around. So
Okay. All right. Okay. If money disappeared tomorrow and you could only do absolutely, sorry, if money disappeared tomorrow and you could do absolutely anything, what would it be? What would you be doing?
food critic.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing, New York has the best food, I think.
Oh, I went to such a good place last night. I went to Selina's in on 19th Street. It was
Italian?
tapas.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ooh, so good.
What's one thing you're still actively trying to get better at?
Having grace with myself and not getting too hard on myself.
What does success mean to you today?
Success means for me today finding the balance between being creative and advancing in my career while not burning myself out in the process.
Amen. What's something you believe today that the 21-year-old Bella would have never believed?
That I could get sober, and I have a year today.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
well,
it.
I'm proud of you about that.
Ah,
I know
appreciate
you
it.
a lot. Who are the 2 or 3 people you know you can call no matter what?
Oof. My friend Samantha, my my dad, and my friend Nick.
Okay. Finish this sentence. Life got better when I stopped.
Oof. Trying to expecting everything. When I started to expect nothing, I got everything.
Okay. Finish the sentence. I finally started becoming myself when.
Ooh, I stopped putting fake things in myself. Fake blonde, fake nails, fake synthetic things, fake
Okay.
food.
What are you most excited about in this chapter of your life you're entering now?
Oh, where my creativity and my drive could take me.
Okay. Heck yeah. The sky's the limit with you.
Excited.
Yeah. And then his final question: if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be? It could be as long as you want it to be.
Hmm.
I told you this one about months ago, so you're actually had
I
time
know,
to prepare.
I know, I know. 18-year-old self. Your possibilities are limitless if you stop thinking the possibilities are only the one present to you.
All right. Well, Bella, I just have to say again, like, this has been one of the most powerful episodes we have had. And for you to be this candid, like, I can't tell you there's people I know in my life that need to hear this. Um, and for you to come on here and to be so open and honest, like, it's touched my soul. I know it's going to touch the lives of a lot of people. I'm literally going to send this out because there's people that need to hear this. And, like, your example of a person that has shown so much courage through what you've been through, you're the person that, for parents out there that don't realize what they might be doing to their child with similar situations, what you sharing your story today, like, I hope that they open their ears and their hearts. For the kids out there that are going through it right now, I know that they're going to find inspiration in you because I've been inspired by you, even though I haven't been through that situation. So I didn't, I thank God for me meeting you because I had no idea you're going to be this much of a blessing today. So I just want to say thank you. And I will have you back. I will make sure it's not
Oh,
that long
I'm
this
so
time, but I
excited.
will have you back.
I do have a little something to share with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This week, I am launching the Bathroom Breakdown, which is my podcast.
Okay.
So
The bathroom.
I know. So the Bathroom Breakdown is actually filmed in a bathroom, which is
Okay.
candid, real, raw experiences, interviews sometimes, but really just solo for me. And it takes you through the dynamic of being an old soul and a young soul at heart, but we break down everything. And it's new. I'm trying it out, and I'm really just excited for it. I got
Okay.
where's my stuff right here? I got some stuff. I just, I've had this camera for a very long time, but
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
I am always ready to have it. And maybe our next conversation is you and I breaking it down in the bathroom.
Hey, I'm absolutely down, Bella. Anytime, I'm always here for you. Just let me know. I'm always up for it. If you even need this episode, I can send it to you too. It's whatever you
Great.
need.
So yeah,
And
first episode's coming out on Sunday.
oh heck yeah! Well, I look forward to
Woo!
it. Well, Bella,
Excited about it.
send me a photo, this photo you want for your thing, and I'll have this done probably in a couple hours.
Amazing.
All
Amazing.
right.
So
Well,
thank
we
you.
always give one a round of applause. You knocked it out of the park, B, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Brandon. I'll see you
All
soon.
right. Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Bye.
Oh, wait. Bella.
No. Okay.
Where can people find you if you want them to find you on social media or anything like that?
Social media. The bathroom breakdown is my new handle, or at Bella Feher with two A's. BellaAAFeher.
All right.
And yeah, that's it. I coach on Substack, but you gotta find that if you really want to find it.
Okay. That sounds good. All right.
All right. All
Bye,
right.
B. Have a
Bye.
good day. You were awesome. Absolutely awesome.